Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Plains on the Prairie podcast. I'm Max, and today I'm joined by Sam, where we're going over just a little rundown of the past couple weeks here at Plains on the Prairie, talking about some of the things that we've done, upcoming events, some cool stuff. Sam, do you have anything you want to say before we start?
Oh, it's just good to get back into the podcast here. We haven't done one since Al's interview, a couple months ago. So it'll be nice to get back in the swing of things. We tried recording the same podcast before the trip you'll be talking about here later, but some technical difficulties, of course, plagued the audio file I had. So um, hopefully this one works out. So hopefully people are listening to this take. So just again, glad to be doing it. So how you been doing?
I've been okay. I've been pretty busy at work and, applying to different grad schools. So it's been keeping me on my toes. But, other than that, it's been all right. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Busy with school. Enjoying the snowy weather the last couple days here. But
went from, beautiful 65 to 25 in a matter of hours.
Yeah, so I was in a t-shirt on Sunday flying, and it was nice. And then
North Dakota weather.
I woke up in a winter coat. I had to wear a winter coat today. So, but yeah, I can't complain. Well, I got offered a new job as a flight instructor. Still got to finish up my flight instruction certificate, but this summer I'll be able to flight instruct, and I'll talk more about that later. And you guys will see a lot of that on the podcast, especially the YouTube channel with a lot of the flying stuff. Doing various events, but yeah, we'll get into that more later. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your trip?
Yeah, so for those that don't know, about 2 weeks ago I went on a little bit of a road trip down to Kansas. I was going to go visit some family down there. It was kind of a makeup trip from I'd say October when I went down to Rapid City. That was actually right at the beginning of the podcast, and then now here we are however many months later. But yeah, it was great seeing family. I love them so much. It's hard to have a bad time with those guys, especially my younger cousins. They love airplanes and stuff like that. And I don't think they mind too much me dragging them to different air museums and airplanes throughout Kansas, but I hope they didn't say a word. So I kept doing it.
Well, that's a plus.
Exactly. So we're going to get started. Unfortunately, sorry, Spotify listeners or all other podcast listeners, you won't be able to see the aircraft that we're talking about, but we will do our best to describe them.
Yeah, and if you're capable of, if you have the area where you can watch a video instead of listening to the podcast. I know a lot of people listen to it while they work, but this is definitely one little bit more of a visual episode here. So if you'd like, you can be we're more than happy for you to watch the YouTube video. We'll figure out a way to post the link in the podcast in the Spotify description for you to head over there. The quality, because of Zoom, we're using this via Zoom right now. It drops the quality a little bit, but you'll be able to see the pictures a little bit better than not seeing not seeing well. So
better.
Obvious statement right there, but yeah. So
cool. Well, all right. Well, we'll get started. I'm thinking I'll start. I won't go over every single airplane that I saw because I saw a lot.
Yeah, and I think that'd be the only one probably still there by the end of it. So
probably,
or because I have to be probably. So
yeah, well, yeah, you're roped into this with me. So, let me just get it all pulled up here. Just 1 second. But I'm thinking I will show maybe one or two from each state. Well, I might make an exception for obviously Kansas, where I spent most of my time. But we will start right off the bat in South Dakota. So let me just pull it up. Sorry for all you fine people out there that are waiting on me. All right. Is it not going to come up?
Yeah, there's always a technology barrier on this podcast. If you guys haven't noticed, we've had a few technical difficulties here and there. But it is a really nice platform to be able to share the pictures a little bit more directly with you. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know why it isn't coming up. Man, can you see my screen?
I can't. You have the ability to share, but maybe just there might be a couple settings options there on the share screen box.
Let's see.
There we go.
All right, you can see that.
It's
Can
on
you
your
see
Google.
this?
Yeah, it's on your Google. So if you just switch screens to the pictures, you should be able to share it.
Can you see the pictures though?
No, just unshare. Stop your share, click, and then go back
Share
in.
screen. Oh, now it comes up.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, everyone. I have the worst luck with technology. It's don't just ask a couple iPads about it. Okay. We have a lot of other photos for upcoming episodes that we will share with you guys later. All right. So my first stop on the trip was in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Out front at the South Dakota Air National Guard headquarters, they have a very nice collection of static aircraft, all representing the history of the South Dakota Air National Guard that they've flown from the early days with the T-33s and the F-89s. However, they do not have an F-89, with the F-106s up until today with an F-16. They have a very nice outdoor selection. So the one that I want to choose from this very impressive collection of gate guards is this F-102 Delta Dagger. It's marked up as 56-1114. However, that's not its actual serial number. Its real serial number is 53-1801. Interestingly, 56-1114 is on display at March Air Base Museum out in California. And it's marked up as a 5th Fighter Interceptor Squadron F-102, which if you watched our Interceptors of North Dakota episode, you would know who they are. Little fun Easter egg right there for you. But yeah, it's interesting because this F-102, outside of Sioux Falls, I don't think you can see a South Dakota F-102 anywhere. So this was a real treat. This was one that I was really hoping to grab, and it's probably the best photo I got from that day. Obviously, neither of us are in the military, so getting access to the bases is pretty difficult, especially with COVID. So I tried to act nonchalant taking these photos. I hope the government isn't going to come and arrest me for taking them, but it's with good intentions, So yeah, for those that are listening via the Spotify and other listening apps, the F-102 is a Delta wing?
Yep, it's a Delta Wing aircraft. Was able to have a lot of different aerodynamic advantages. Help makes more of a cone shape in the flight path, so that helps. It was one of the earliest supersonic aircraft that we had in the U.S. military, and part of that was I think we talked about it, I believe, in the North Dakota Interceptors podcast episode. We'll put the link down for that one. About more of a Coke bottle shape, so it gets kind of skinny out towards on this aircraft, I guess, kind of towards where it says DAK for Dakota. It actually, the fuselage kind of like bottles out. So if you picture a Coke bottle shape in that general shape, it kept the wingspan pretty much equal right there, the thickness of the wing, and helped it achieve supersonic flight. So it's a very interesting aircraft, very much a pioneer in supersonic flight.
For sure. And it's a very quintessential early 1960s jet. It looks like something you would see in an old action movie or something like that. It's one of my favorites, especially in the Century series. But yeah, for those that are listening, this aircraft is in standard Air Defense Command gray. And interestingly, it has red lightning bolts throughout the tail, and red markings on the wings as well. Very interesting look to it for sure. So after that, saw a few other aircraft. As you can see, I stopped by Yankton, South Dakota, just a quick visit to this T-38 that's marked up as Thunderbird. I don't believe it ever served as one, but it's pretty cool. And I got a lot of Moody pictures with it. So I'm really happy with how those ones came out. My second stop, or third, I should say, won't spend a lot of time on this one, but I stopped in Sioux City, Iowa, and tried to do my best to get photos of the gate guards out front there. There was no parking permitted, and the area next door was under surveillance. So, honestly, I don't know if I should have taken these photos or not. As you can see, they turned out terrible. But it's Sioux City is one of those bases that I need to have photos of those jets at some point. They are beautiful, and being from Iowa, I feel obligated to share those with you guys. Interestingly, this F-100 here with the HA tail markings, that is a Vietnam combat vet. Like most F-100s, that one actually flew with the Iowa Air National Guard in Southeast Asia, and I believe it flew at least 25 combat missions. So it's seen its tour of duty. I did see another Sioux City A7D. They were very common. I saw a lot of those, but probably one of the bigger ones I saw was this B-52G out in front of Offutt Air Force Base, just outside of Omaha, Nebraska. I couldn't find a whole lot of information about this one straight away. It's very similar to the Grand Forks B-52G. They just kind of threw it up on a post. Apparently, this one actually was stationed at Griffiths Air Force Base out in New York before it was deactivated and sent to Omaha. Offutt actually has 3 static displays. They have this B-52H. They have a KC-135, which was right next door. I don't know if it was actually still a KC-135. It might have been converted to a C-135 or something like that. And then I almost got in a lot of trouble for it, but I almost got to be up close with a B-17 static. I went to the wrong entrance, and just in the nick of time, I realized I was going through a protected barrier, so I had to turn around because I don't have a military ID, so that would have been bad if I had to go through there. But hopefully, fingers crossed, I have a friend that knows a friend that is actually stationed at Offutt who can hopefully give us some photos of that B-17, because the story behind it is very, very impressive.
Yeah, and just a quick plug here.
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, and then if you guys, a lot of our listeners are pilots or big aviation enthusiasts. So if you have any pictures you ever want to share, maybe you have pictures of any of the aircraft we've done videos on previously that may serve a good purpose, you can always share those. It's kind of interesting to see, people's personal stories on these aircraft. Kind of like that Rearwind video a few weeks back that was uploaded. That one, there's someone that commented on the Facebook page that said their dad actually owned the airplane back in the 50s and 60s. So there's a lot of cool stories behind these aircraft, and our goal is to give as much information on those stories as possible. And we love not only hearing about them but sharing them as well.
Absolutely, I could not have said that any better myself. So that was the B-52, and Offutt was the last big stop I had on the first day of the driving on the trip. And the second day was spent visiting Topeka, Kansas, which has a very rich history of aircraft and aviation and military aviation, actually. One of the highlights, I would say, was this MiG Killer F4D. Let me see. I believe it says, 65-0801. It actually flew with Kansas, or the Kansas Air National Guard, back in the day, and then after its retirement was placed on display here at the museum. I'm probably going too fast on the pictures, aren't I? This one was flown by Captain Steve Ritchie as the pilot, and then Captain Lawrence Petit in the Rio spot. I don't know the exact date that they scored their kill in this. I do know that it was Steve Ritchie's second kill during the war. It flew with the 555th Tactical Fighter Squadron, the Triple Nichols, out of Udorn Royal. I think it was the Royal Thai Air Force Base, in Thailand.
Very interesting.
But yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. My only interest, I don't want to say gripe, but I was a little confused by the tail code. As you can see here, 50-801. I don't know if that's the way that it would have been in the theater or if it's just a little mistake. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's
Yeah.
okay. Let's see here. So we will move on. As you can see, they had a oh, not that.
Canberra.
Yeah, Canberra.
Oh.
They actually had two of them. This one was in far better shape than the one actually out front of the base. But this one had the orange markings, the high vis markings. I don't quote me on it, but I believe that these served as electronic warfare or like sort of adversaries or aggressors for radar stations or fighters. Do you know about that, Sam? At
Well, I know
all?
the high vis markings are pretty strongly associated with up like in Alaska and stuff like that. Other than
Mm-hmm.
that, I don't know too much because I've seen you know, C-47s and you know, some I believe C-130s and stuff like that that are marked up like that. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Well,
not too familiar.
hopefully we will use this as a kebab flyer because Kansas is, you know, on the prairie. I like to
Well, yeah,
think.
yeah, anything pretty much in the Great Plains. I mean,
Yeah.
our main focus, of course, is Upper Midwest. You know, that's
Mm-hmm.
where we both are located in. So more of our kebabs for now, as with you know, with our busy schedules and all that, will probably be up here for the time being. But you
Yes,
know,
absolutely.
we'll be able to expand south as well too. So
Yeah, as once we can, you know, get on the road again. But yeah, that and this was all at the Kansas Air National Guard Museum. The highlight for me, however, was this beautiful KC-135E that they had out front. I think I have a photo of the nose art right here. Yeah, High Plains Predator, just a very stunning piece of nose work on this aircraft. It was retired in 2004 and literally towed from one end of the airfield to the other and put on display. So it's quite the history, and it's crazy. I saw a lot of KC-135s on this trip. So moving on, we visited the Combat Air Museum, literally a hop and a skip away from here. It was cold. It was, as you can see from some of the photos, it was raining, and I'd say we were all pretty miserable. But you know, we persevered. We held strong. So one of the highlights for me here was seeing this EC-121, the Constellation, or Connie as it's called. This was actually the first time I'd seen a military version. I've been up close with the one that they have out at the Museum of Flight in Seattle. And they're big. You don't
oh yeah,
realize just how massive these aircraft are until I mean, you get to get inside of this one. So it's huge. The interior was very well maintained. Unfortunately, the exterior could have used a little work, but you know, it's outside. You
oh
can't really
yeah,
blame it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, they did a really nice job of telling the story of a EC-121 crew that was shot down. Um, I believe during the Vietnam War, but not by the North Vietnamese. I believe it was shot down either by North Korea or the Soviet Union, and it was
Hmm.
the greatest loss of Air Force life in any single combat mission on one aircraft, I believe. I could be wrong there. But yeah, they had a lot of replica World War One aircraft, right up your wheelhouse, I
Oh
would
yeah.
say. Um, just showing you. The lighting in this was unfortunately just a little iffy. A lot of fluorescent lighting, which you know equals iffy photos. Another one of my personal favorites at this museum was another F4D MiG killer. This one, F4D, was or scored its first and only MiG kill on 12 October 1972, shot down a MiG 21. Affectionately, this aircraft was nicknamed the Wichita Lineman. This was probably actually one of my favorites of the whole trip. Um, I know I've told Sam this story when I got back, but this aircraft had a strange fascination with the ground. It never crashed, but the way it shot down the MiG 21 was by locking onto it, and the North Vietnamese pilot was so nervous he was trying to evade the F4 and ended up flying right into the ground presumably killing the pilot. But yeah, that, and they were credited with the kill. So flash forward about 20 years, and I believe in the early 1980s, this F-4D was now flying with the Kansas Air National Guard. They had just flown a training sortie, and they just bombed, I believe, a gun range down in Kansas, and it happened to fly right into some telephone lines.
Hmm.
And amazingly, the aircraft did not crash. They were able to fly it back to base. When they landed, it was covered in power lines, telephone lines, and it was repaired and made a full recovery. And yeah, this one was the one that was on display at the Kansas Air National Guard headquarters at McConnell Air Force Base down in Wichita. However, once they're the double MiG killer there that took its place, and then this one came to the Combat Air Museum sometime in the late to mid 1990s. But yeah, like I said, it was a beautiful museum, and what was interesting about it was they had a good mix of, like, obviously aircraft that were on loan through the Air Force loan program, and then they actually at one point had flown many of the aircraft that were in the museum. This C-47 here is actually a VC-47 that was flyable up until I believe the late 90s, early 2000s. And I was talking with some members of the museum there, and they said that it just, the cost, the insurance, you know how it goes. It got to be too much to maintain all of these aircraft. So they ended up having to close down the flying aspect. However, the third museum that I visited, as you can see, we're passing over. This is for my friend Tom. That's your Tomcat right there. The third museum that we visited happened to have an airworthy C-47 that is marked up as a AC-47 gunship from the Vietnam War. I've actually seen this one. I believe it was 4 years ago at Air Expo in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It's an absolutely beautiful aircraft. It tells the story of Jack Levitow, the lowest ranked Air Force member to win the Medal of Honor. He earned it during Vietnam by pushing a flare out of a burning AC-47 before it ignited and set off all the ammunition and basically killed everybody on board. For that, he was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Unfortunately, I believe he passed away in 2000, so he is sadly no longer with us. But yeah, it's a very, very impressive story and a beautiful, beautiful aircraft. They're actually doing a lot of maintenance on it while we were in there. Let me see if I can show you a photo of that. That kind of shows it right there. They said that they had sent one of the engines off to Idaho about 2 or 3 days prior, so we had just missed it. Yeah, that was very cool. So the next day, we were heading down to Wichita, and we happened to stop by a small little town called Emporia. Now, Emporia, Kansas, it's about halfway between Kansas City, maybe just a little bit halfway between Kansas City and Wichita. It's like I said, small town. They have a nice brewery. But the main reason we were there was to see this girl right here. This is a former Minnesota Air National Guard F-4D Phantom 65-0585. This one was really special. I've been wanting to see this one for a long time, ever since I discovered it was there. Very interesting history about this one. During the 1980s, this F4, along with a few other Minnesota, actually a few North Dakota Air National Guard and California Air National Guard aircraft, were stationed at Ramstein Air Force Base in West Germany to basically show the top Air Force brass that Air National Guard units could function in the same role as active duty Air Force units. This aircraft is very famous for being in some of the most, I mean, I know you've seen the photos, the 3-ship formation of a Happy Hooligan, a Duluth, and then the California F4s flying over the that very famous castle in Germany. And this is it. I was blown away by it. It's it's in okay shape. You can obviously make out the markings. It hasn't been painted over or anything like that. But yeah, this is one aircraft that I do wish that the Minnesota Air National Guard Museum would have gotten instead of the F4C that they had to repaint. Obviously, I understand that stuff like that happens, but just a little personal gripe. But yeah, we spent a lot of time taking photos there. Our last stop for the aviation was at the Kansas Air Museum in Wichita. Sadly, we had gotten there after they were no longer admitting visitors. However, the lady at the front desk was very kind and let us come in anyway, free of charge. We just had a very limited time there. I know, Sam, you were hoping that I could have got some photos of some old tail draggers for you, but it's
something.
Unfortunately,
yeah,
it's something. I did the first photo I got. They were actually doing practice runs with McConnell Air Force Base right there. So we have a flying KC-135. Shout out to my friend Nick.
Very cool.
He's a good fan of those. But yeah, an old B-52, T-33. I think you have a Cessna. That's not a Blue Canoe in the back there, is it?
Looks like a King Air. Kind of hard to
King
tell.
Air. Okay, yeah. And then something. But yeah, sorry. They had a B-47 there. Very cool aircraft. I like them. And then this was kind of neat. They had another KC-135E. However, this one I actually have a photo of. That is a terrible photo. So that's the actual photo that I own from my slide collection. And then here she is today. A little worn out. I definitely wouldn't fly on her now, even if she had engines. But back in 1972, when this photo was taken, absolutely, I would definitely have flown on it. But yeah, so that was all that day. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see much of the museum or what it had to offer, but it was a nice day. Also, just a little hint or teaser. That's the best photo that I could get of the Starship.
Yep, the Starship. Yeah, they're a pretty airplane.
They're that the tarmac or the runway that they were all kept out at was a little cramped. And with it closing very soon, you can only get a limited amount of photos in. So I was hoping to get more of them. I was trying to recreate my personal slide photo, but unfortunately it was not to be. But yeah, so, and the last full day that I was in Kansas, we stopped by the former Olathe Naval Air Station, or the Naval Air Training Station. My uncle had grown up around this area, and he and his father both remember seeing these jets fly over. Especially his father remembers seeing like Corsairs, a lot of those early Cold War still piston-driven aircraft, or propeller, I should say. But yeah, and that kind of ties into our. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, very well could have been the Corsair we just did a video out on. So
absolutely, yep, that one was stationed there too. So yeah, this was a really nice treat, and I think these were actually some of the only naval aircraft that I got to see on my trip. If you know me personally, I'm more of an Air Force guy, but I don't mind seeing, especially my Skyhawks. These things are just awesome.
Yeah, and we'll have a Skyhawk out for you eventually. Here we got one about an hour from me, at least in Grand Forks here. So.
Oh right, yeah. I always forget about that. And then here are just a couple of replica, or I guess one replica airplane from the World War I Museum down in Kansas City. So my last stop on my way back up to Fargo was through the Strategic Air Command Museum just outside of Ashland, Nebraska. And please excuse the fact that my photo roll is messed up. I have no idea why. Here we are. I will be scrolling up to them. So this museum was on my wish list for a long time. I am a huge fan of SAC, Strategic Air Command, I should say. Not any of you dirty people out there. Yeah, you got me on audio saying that. This was also the first time I ever got to be up close with a B-36, the Peacemaker. They called it a Peacemaker for a reason because I would not want to be on the receiving end of anything that bomber could carry. I want to see if I have a photo of me standing next to it for scale. I will say I will apologize in advance. The lighting in this museum, as good as the museum was terrible. It's very dark, and a few areas they do. That's me. Um, they put these red lights on some of the aircraft. I have no idea why. It was
Yeah,
a
it's
bit
just
of a disappointment,
seems like
but
it's a theme with some of these air museums, just to light it as poorly as possible.
I get it. There's some aspects of preservation, like you
Right.
have to have the lighting dim, but um, yeah. I mean, when a guy like me comes to town, you have to turn on all the lights. I'm
Right.
kidding. I'm completely kidding. I'm completely kidding. So, but no, absolutely awesome museum. If I was there not to take photos, I would have thoroughly enjoyed myself. But of course, they had an SR-71. Actually, I believe it was an A-12. One of the two. Please don't kill me for getting it wrong. Um, let's see. Obviously, a B-36. Like they had almost every aircraft that SAC had flown at one point or another. Um, they had a very nice F-101, of course. But I will say my personal favorite aircraft in the entire collection, let me see if I have a good photo of it, had to have been this absolutely stunning bare metal finish A-26 Invader. Actually, it could be considered a counter invader since it has the nose machine guns.
Yep.
But this, I could not stop looking at it. I'm not even like joking. Like it's right next to the Voodoo, man. That's saying something. That is truly saying something. But no, absolutely gorgeous aircraft. It literally looked like it could take off. What I do like about the SAC Museum was they had cockpit lighting. So it was so dark, but the lighting was like they had like lights in the original spots where the lights would have been in the cockpit. So you would honestly think like, oh, I could go in there and fire that thing up right now and I'll taxi. Well, probably couldn't taxi out of there, but it's hard to miss. Here's the B-36 right behind it. Actually, they're working on a full interior restoration. I don't know, and I doubt that they would allow people to get inside of it. However, it's just incredible. Like there I am. That's me. And that's the
Didn't
B-36.
even see you there.
It's massive. Yeah, exactly. It
Is
was so dark.
there is one B-36 in the country that you can tour the inside of, correct? Is that, or you can get special
I
permission?
I think special permission.
Yeah, is that the Air Force Museum?
I think the Air Force Museum is super good about letting people come in and tour the jets on certain occasions. I know they actually have an upcoming event where you can walk through an AC-130 that they have on display.
Okay.
Um, but obviously with these aircraft, especially maybe not so much with the B-36 because it's basically a flying office, but like some of these aircraft are so tight and
Right.
you have a lot of little kids running around. So I know that's an issue at some of the museums that I've been at. I know actually the Minnesota Air National Guard Museum was always very good at letting kids and I'd jump in the cockpit. I mean, I don't care. I'm still waiting for the day that I can get into the cockpit of a Voodoo, but we'll save that for later. Um, I believe this saber was a sister ship to one of the sabers that we have filmed or have previously talked about. I'd have to double check the serial numbers, but let's see, 53-1375. I think that either might be Walhalla or Jamestown or actually Hettinger.
Okay.
Which I was like, oh, that's got to be super interesting. But another really cool tidbit, they have one of three B-47 tornadoes. Sadly, it was just tucked far back into the corner, all alone by itself. Um, Actually, I do believe it's actually the sole remaining B-47. I think the other two are like either reconnaissance version or the A model. But that
Yeah.
is the actually this is the RB. So this is actually the reconnaissance one. So
Yeah,
this is the
and
sole remaining RB 40. Oh, 45. Excuse me. Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's known for, being the first. It won the first contract for, the United States Air Force for a bomber, multi-engine bomber
Mhm.
aircraft, in the jet configuration. But yeah, very
Yeah,
interesting.
absolutely.
Unfortunately, it's a footnote, in aviation history, kind of. So,
Hmm.
but definitely an interesting aircraft. So.
Yeah, you see a lot of these marked up with like yellow stripes on the tail. I know that they flew out of bases in England during the early days of the Cold War, like early 1950s. Um, they had a very nice tribute to the Doolittle Raiders. Their B-25 is marked up as one of them, of course. Let's see here. And they also actually, pretty interestingly, they had a walkthrough of an Air Defense Command B-25, which I really appreciated. If I could just find some decent photos of it somewhere. And Sam, if you see an airplane that you want me to talk more about, or you see something that catches your eye, let me know, and I'd be happy to cover it.
Oh, they're all
But yeah,
very
here's
interesting.
the. I'm
I wouldn't.
saving the best one for last for you.
I'd be picking all of them pretty much. So.
Oh, of course. Well, there was a special one that you wanted me to get a little clip of. It's this little guy.
Yep.
The
The Goblin.
XF-85 Parasite, or the Goblin. Um, this was a weird airplane to see up close. I was like kind of blown away by how small it is, and to think, oh my gosh, that was actually like a real thing that was really tested. Um, Crazy stuff. But no, I honestly though, all these museums were phenomenal. Like, don't get my words wrong. Like, the lighting may have been bad, but at the end of the day, you're there to appreciate these aircraft, and you're here to appreciate the history that they hold. The SAC Museum was incredible. It was truly incredible. Um, Out front, they have the one of two remaining B-1A Lancer bombers. Um, and this actually held a special spot in my heart. I finally have seen the two remaining B-1As. I saw the first one out in Denver, and I've seen this one. This one, actually, if you look, you will notice it has a very, for lack of a better word, bad paint scheme. Um, Fortunately, their recent head of collections, or the curator at the SAC Museum, said that they will be repainting this, and offered many different choices. I believe it's actually going to be painted in its early anti-flash SAC white. That is my personal favorite scheme for the B1As. Um, but yeah, a lot, as you can see, a lot of parts for this have actually been stripped for use on other B1Bs. Um, I know the museum in Denver, they had the Air Force come in and took actually a few pieces of that B1A too. Um, Kind of interesting that they're doing that. We don't need to get political on here, but and then I knew that there was a couple aircraft missing in the museum, and I knew I had to find them. Interesting story up here. Well, you have some of the missiles. A T-39 Saberliner. Fun little story about this. Infamous individual in world history tried to buy this. His name was Osama bin Laden, and he tried to purchase this to help funnel weapons into Iraq and Yemen and Afghanistan. Fortunately, he never got hold of it, so we have it now. Um, and then in the back, they had two more aircraft. One of my personal favorites, the TC 131 Flying Classroom. This would have been used by navigators training. I will say they have a ton of beautiful bare metal finish aircraft at the SAC Museum. They pride themselves in maintaining and polishing those aircraft. So props to them. You might have noticed the wings that I just kind of teased, to not to be counterproductive here. We'll go back. They are currently working on a restoration of an EC-135 looking glass.
Oh,
This is
very
a
cool.
variant of the C-135. Um, Unfortunately, they do not plan to reattach the wings to make it a full rebuild or restoration. However, they are making the interior completely restored, functioning lights, sounds, Cockpit, I don't think you can obviously sit in it, but they want to make it look like a fully armed and operational early warning command center, or a looking glass, which was the mission that these participated in. But fortunately, if they ever do decide to reattach the wings, which I hope they one day do, they are sitting out back, so they can just go back and grab them. Another beautiful shot, and then the piece de la resistance for my friend Sam here. I feel like he already knows what's coming. The Avro Vulcan. That's me again. Sorry.
Double ugly right there.
Double. Thank you. That was a good one. But yeah, seeing one of these for the first time. I know Sam doesn't like them, but I have always loved just those, like, what, the Victor, the Victory bombers or whatever.
Yeah,
the V bombers.
I really do like
British
the Victor.
had.
I like the Victor and the Valiant, though. I'll give you that. But
one of my, actually, I had never heard of this plane up until about 2015, because there was actually one still flying, and all like my British followers on one of my old accounts would be posting photos of it. I'm like, that is so cool. And then eventually, and unfortunately, it no longer is airworthy, sadly. But
yeah,
seeing one of these up close, me again, it was just so cool. Very, very cool bomber. A lot of rich history. Sadly, this one has never been on display inside of the museum. It was always, I mean, the old SAC Museum, actually at or near Offutt Air Force Base, was outdoors. And that's why, actually, if we go back, I didn't get a whole lot of photos of it because it's in rough shape. But they have a B-52, an early one. Actually, it was the first B-52B delivered to the United States Air Force. Here, let's see. So that's like a side view. Am I blocking it there?
There you go. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, that's okay, good. Let's see. I know I'm going back on it, but interestingly enough, this B-52 is marked in the markings of, I believe, the 28th Bomb Wing, which is stationed at Ellsworth in South Dakota, which we have been before, or at least I have been. You'll be there soon, hopefully this summer.
Yep, hopefully this
summer. But yeah, it's very sun damage, as you can see. Just haven't gotten around to the restoration yet, but it's still a beautiful aircraft. A lot of actual, like, upper Midwest history in this museum, and with how many SAC bases there were here, it's completely understandable.
Right.
Just one more little tidbit for all of our North Dakota fans. This UH-19 Husky, I believe. Nope, it's not Husky. It's
Chickasaw.
Not a Husky. Chickasaw. I should know that because it's our most popular video. This one was actually stationed at Grand Forks back in the early to late 1950s. So that was pretty cool to see. Obviously, one more SR-71 post for the viewers. Of course.
It looks like a really
cool
ship. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. One of these days we'll have to go back out and do it ourselves. But,
yeah, for sure.
Let's see. So I'm going to stop sharing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed those. Sorry for all of our Spotify listeners that you just heard my descriptions of these aircraft, but feel free to, when you're not working or driving or doing something like that, just go on YouTube, check us out, watch the video, pop some popcorn, fun stuff like that. So I know we're nearing the end here. I know, Sam, you got something coming up, so we'll kind of rush through the end segment here.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, at the beginning, we're going to be doing a lot more events going on here since, COVID, knock on wood, is going to continue to get better here, with everybody getting vaccinated and all that. A lot of events are coming up now. A lot of states are opening up. North Dakota's been pretty open the whole time. So with that being said, there's a lot of events going on in the immediate area. So we'll be seeing a few, you'll be seeing us at a few fly-ins here and there. And then air shows hopefully later in the summer. So yeah, I'm just going to run through a few events here. So we have just coming up around the corner, May 1st and 2nd, we got 2 fly-ins here. They're in Jamestown on the 1st and Grafton on the 2nd. The second one's hosted by EAA Chapter 380 up in Grafton. So we'll expect to see both of us there. We'll get some content here for each of those. We'll hopefully grab a few pilot interviews. So if you're a pilot flying to any of those or either of those two fly-ins, we'll for sure be there. And if you're willing to, get or do an interview with us, grab you for a couple minutes, we'd be really happy to do that, and we'd really appreciate it too. So we'll be doing a lot of that. So I expect kind of a shift into the general aviation stuff this summer. Seeing a lot more of that. I mean, we'll still have the military stuff, of course, with air shows, and these fly-ins will still have military aircraft, just a lot less frequent than the common GA aircraft. Then with that Jamestown one, I'm planning on flying into that one. So if you see me in a red Cherokee, I'll share a picture of that in a little bit. Hoping to take Max and myself out there for that one. So, and then as well as Grafton, hopefully too. So both are, of course, weather dependent. So
yeah.
And we got some other ones coming up in June. So there's Mandan on the 13th, Valley City on the 19th, then Newtown and Killdeer, both out in Western North Dakota on the 26th. I'm planning on going to Valley City, Newtown, and Killdeer. Both of us will probably end up hopefully being able to go to Valley City. Killdeer is kind of a trek out there, but we'll do our best. And then, of course, the end of May, the 21st, 22nd, out in Buffalo, Minnesota, at the airport there. They're doing the Greater Minnesota Aviation Gathering, big 2-day event. Don't know if I'll be able to make it, but big event in the southern part of Minnesota that a lot of people like to get to. And thankfully this year it's not canceled or postponed as of now. So good signs there is seeing some Minnesota stuff open up here too, some fly-ins here and there. I believe Fairmont has one in June, so towards the end of June there as well. So yeah, very excited to do that. And like I said, got a job as or flight instructing here. I just have to finish up my certificate. And last weekend, actually, I got the cool opportunity to get my first ferry experience. So if you've seen our Instagram, I didn't put them on the Facebook, but I should do that. I got the opportunity to ferry a couple airplanes. So I got to ferry this Piper Warrior and then this Piper Cherokee, both pretty similar, both PA-28s. But this Cherokee is the one you'll probably see more content in. Both of them are owned by First Class Aviation in Jamestown, North Dakota. And I'll be doing quite a bit of instruction in both of these aircraft, and more so this red one, like I said, this summer. And but it was a fun experience. Got a few hours in my logbook, and got to fly some different aircraft here. And we also got to see this F-86 Sabre out in Jamestown. And we'll probably do a walk around of that if it's still in the public view for the fly-in when we head over there. So hopefully get a little bit on that. So, but yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun experiences with this job and get some new aircraft types and definitely document it quite a bit. And I know Max is interested in getting your license. You're getting your license possibly here soon. So hopefully we could
fingers crossed.
We can maybe get that rolling here. So, but yeah, a lot of cool stuff in this wing. Museum visits, of course, kebab flyers. We'll be doing more trips like that. Possibly this weekend we'll be doing more on the Grand Forks Air Force Base, or doing some flying. It'll be one or the other. So you'll see some content coming your way for that. And yeah, we got air shows and all that. Fargo Air Show, Air Expo this year. It sounds like I think both of those are still on as of now.
Yep. I think Air Expo, they're just going full steam ahead. I don't even know what they're gonna do, but I mean, got a good lineup so far. I'm not complaining.
I saw that Spitfire, so
yeah, that's worth the price of admission alone, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe Oshkosh, who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Hope Oshkosh is a goal, and Reno is still on the table as well for me at least. So I'm thinking about Reno air races if I got a free weekend free. So
wow, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I got race 57 on here. So
there you go. Naturally.
So
well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I think Sam, do you have anything else? Anything parting?
No, that's pretty much
thoughts?
it. I think this, this podcast, today's the 13th. We'll have it up same day here. So, yeah, and stay tuned for some more walk around videos. We'll be doing that.
Yeah.
Trying to do those at least once a week. We had kind of a low period of filming here the last couple of weeks. So, we'll be sure to get some more videos filmed out for you guys, and then
Absolutely
uploaded. So the next one's a Predator. We'll probably upload that this weekend here, and have that for you guys to watch. And Max will take you around that one. So
yeah, for sure. We also, as always, we got stickers. If you guys are interested, we're not going to be running out anytime soon. So please help us sell them.
Yeah, and hoping to get a couple some more camera equipment,
Yep,
GoPros especially. Hoping to get one or two of those.
All of the sticker sales go towards making this podcast better, and we cannot do it without the support of you guys, the listeners. Yeah, just keep that in mind. We appreciate all your help and everyone that's listening right now. So.
Yeah, and we're thinking about expanding some of the like merch stuff. We're thinking about doing Teespring. I think we've talked a little bit about that, possibly getting t-shirts out there. So if that's something you guys are interested in, just shoot us a message and we can make that happen. We can get a Teespring store up there, or we can put out different stickers. I've been talking with the guy who designed our original logo to get Happy Hooligans F4s, and we'll get the Minnesota ones out there. So
nice.
Maybe we'll do a limited run of those stickers. And
absolutely.
Yeah, of course, as always, they're $3 for the stickers. Again, all the proceeds are going right back into it. So I think I have about 70 of them myself. So if you see me at all, I'm here on campus at UND or everywhere else.
Actually, and here's the thing: if you see us at these fly-ins that are coming up, we're going to be loaded with them. So do not be like. Actually, and should we say if you let us give you a walk around or talk,
Sticker,
we'll give you a sticker. We'll give you a free sticker.
I mean, honestly, they're good to have around. I mean, we use them a lot as promotional stuff. I like to, give them out to we give them out to like Al, I believe took one.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll be doing a lot of hangar visits, and you will be too. Kind of like, there is that. I think I was talking to you a couple days ago about those T-34s out in West Fargo.
Yeah,
I don't know too much about that, but I'll sleuth that one out this weekend probably. So, but yeah, our goal is to see them slapped everywhere, on your cars, wherever. So
everywhere.
So, but yeah, we really appreciate you guys tuning in for this one, and we'll be putting posts out regularly, whether we're having videos or not. We're gonna try to get some more kebab flyers and just a kind of a status about what each of us are up to. So the Spotify link will be down below if you're on YouTube, vice versa for the Spotify listeners there. Be able to get that YouTube link, and then of course our Facebook, Instagram, all that will be linked down below, and be able to check us out on all our pages. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in. So with that, I think this is Sam with Max signing off. Have a good one, guys.
See ya.